This is Carl with the three thing I'm watching for Wednesday, March the 19th. Starting out, global exchange rates are starting to make a big difference on our currencies, especially the US dollar versus the Brazilian real. And we hear this a lot. Back and forth on the currency values. The US dollar has started to soften and post some pretty big declines from where it was. This has greatly slowed South American selling, both from the farmers and from the exporters. It is picking up, and we're seeing grain flow, but it's very restricted from what one would think, given the crop sizes we have. And bottom line is a cheap U.S. dollar, since all sales are based on the dollar right now out of South America. When we see the dollar fall, we see sales drop. When the dollar rallies, we see a little bit more heavy selling pressure. So that has restricted the export flow out of South America here this fall, or excuse me, their harvest season has been restricted. It's going to pick up. I mean, we see ebbs and flows in currency and exchange rates, so we will see more eventually. But it's interesting that right now, when all the importers are hoping for these cheap soybeans out of South America, South American farmer isn't selling. I'm going to look at drought here a little bit too, mainly in Brazil. We haven't really heard about drought in Brazil much. Matter of fact, it's been the excessive rainfall that we've had in much of the country. And while that has pretty much corrected and planting, the safrinha crop and soybean harvest moving along, drought conditions on the safrinha are now kind of a double whammy for that. We had delayed plantings, 25% of the crop seeded out time the normal window, and now half, 50% of Brazil's safrinha crop reporting abnormal soil moisture conditions, meaning it's abnormally dry. That definitely a yield factor, not uncommon during these La Nina years. Last year out of Brazil, we did get a rather good sized first crop, and then the safrinha took a hit. Looks like this could be another year. I wouldn't be too surprised if we didn't see a little bit of speculative buying in the corn complex here pretty soon. Third thing I'm watching today, the Fed decision this afternoon around 2 o'clock Eastern time. Don't expect to see a rate change. Sentiment on the street is 99% chance that we will see a hold on rates this month. Might see one later on this year, but with inflation creeping up, it is unlikely we'll see any sizable rate cuts this year. And I would say multiple cuts are off the table. Those are the three things we're watching today.